Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of year again where WWE goes out and talks about how much money they've made hand over fist of WrestleMania, how it's the highest gates they've ever had, highest earning WrestleMania, and then shortly after they have to do budget cuts because they're struggling, I guess, for money, you know, especially right after WrestleMania. In all seriousness, they got to make the books look good so they can show those shareholders. I don't know. I don't know why they do it.
Maybe they just don't
But
have anything for them. Like you
so
get rid of the dead weight.
yeah, it's an annual thing around this time. They go with their budget cuts. So we have a new wave, and the list as of the recording of this video, they kind of hinted that there might be more coming. So let's start from the bottom because the more surprising names are at the top. So we have Javier Barnell. Don't even know who that is.
I don't either.
Like zero idea who that is. We got Oral Mensa. He was a part of the Metaphor down in NXT. Noam Dar is still there. And Lash Legend, she's still there.
Mm.
The Gallus Boys, Joe Coffey, Mark Coffey, and Wolfgang. They were also part of NXT. So they're cut as well. I'll be
Didn't
honest.
they ask for their release like a while ago? Oh, okay.
But I know they're boring. So
All right.
there's that. They didn't do anything for me. We got Jakara Jackson, also part of the Metaphor. So Ora Mensa and Jakara Jackson are both gone. And Lash Legend and Noam Dar still seems to be there. She's also out of NXT. We have Eddie Thorpe, also out of NXT. I thought he had some promise. He kind of reminded me of Neymar from the Black Panther, specifically of the Black Panther. If you watched that movie, he reminded me of him. Do you know any of these people so far?
Nope. I didn't know Gallus.
Okay.
Well, of Gallus. I'm sure I've seen him. But no.
Fair enough. Riley Osborne, don't know who that is. Gigi Gigi Dolan. Now we're getting to names that you should know. Gigi Dolan. She was a part of Toxic Attraction with Mandy Rose. And then Mandy Rose got fired because she wanted to be a porn star. And then they made another group, and she was a part of that group. The part of this group was with Shotzi and that other girl who was a part of Toxic Attraction. She used to be in AEW. And now we're getting to the main roster people who most people are going to know a little bit more of. So far, I don't think it's anything to bat an eye at. Maybe Gigi Dolan, because she was pretty used on NXT. So maybe her. But outside of that, I don't think any surprises so far.
She seemed to have like a whole bunch of tag teams, though.
Yeah, she was a part of a lot of groups.
Yeah.
But now we get into, the main roster people. And we'll go in order of fan outrage, we'll say. Oh, not on this list, and seem to be trailing behind, is Shotzi Blackheart. Apparently, she's been told that her contract is not going to be renewed, so she's out too. Get her out! Again, not really much there, surprise-wise. I mean, you get sent back to NXT for so long, you gotta know something's about to happen.
True.
And it was Shotzi, so. Okay, so out of the tag team division, the only tag team that they had left that were not just thrown together, this being both Katana Chance and Caden Carter. They were the life of the party, the little chick, the ex-Ninja Warrior. I guess to give a little sum up, they were part of the main roster for some time. I think they won the tag team titles. Outside of that, they really didn't have anything. They had a cool entrance with the little smoke guns. But from being honest, they didn't really connect either.
Yeah, I didn't think anything of them. They kind of looked alike, even though they were clearly different.
Yeah. So, yes, they've been released. I don't even know what's next for either one of them. I mean, outside of Gigi Dolan, probably we're going to see a bunch of indies. Well, we won't see it. If I'm being honest, if I even see their name on headlines, I wouldn't know who it was. And then we get into some more devastating names, which I think at least two of the three will end up in AEW. So we have Shayna Baszler. She was also released. If you followed her career, she was in NXT. So you had Asuka and her. Definitely in dominance, they were the two. I think Shayna Baszler lost like her last night on NXT to where Asuka retired undefeated. Then she got called up to the main roster. She feuded with Becky Lynch right out of the gate. She eliminated every woman in the Elimination Chamber, which sent her to WrestleMania to face Becky Lynch. She bit Becky Lynch like a vampire. And then she got the Bret Hart pin, where she had Becky Lynch in a Carabiner clutch, and Becky Lynch reversed it into the pin. And then she goes on a string of losing to the point where no one cared about her anymore. And then she joins the PFC group with also released, what was her name? Sonya Deville and Zoe Stark, who is still there, but not being used, so you gotta watch out. I'm hearing there might be another wave as of Monday, so that's what I'm saying. Watch out. But yeah, I would say she was a failed career. Definitely one of the more legitimate women they had on the roster.
True.
And I wouldn't be surprised if she goes to AEW.
AEW or TNA?
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched really TNA. It seems like they're more geared towards younger talent right now. But I don't know.
How old Shayna?
I think she's like 44.
Is she really?
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah. Outside of Shayna Baszler, this one was pretty shocking to me. But as I thought about it, it wasn't shocking either. That being Braun Strowman. And again, I say it was shocking, but it also wasn't. So Braun Strowman got released. He was a pretty mainstay on the roster. We're not going to talk about his early career because he did get released towards the end of Vince McMahon's career, and then he got brought back, and now he's released again. If we're being honest, since his return, maybe not at the start of it, but at some point, he got injured, and that injury carried over. Maybe he needed like surgery or something, but he just wasn't the same after he got injured or something. He would do like his Strowman Express thing, and he would just look like he's walking or whatever. It looked like he was really struggling towards the end there. He's like Andre the Giant at the end of his career, just could barely move. And so that's why I say it's surprising because, you know, he was just like in a feud with Jacob Fatu. He did wonders for Jacob Fatu, especially the Saturday night main event where Fatu destroyed him. He also did wonders for Bronson Reed. So he was helping people get to the next level, but he just couldn't move.
What else are you gonna do with him? Because all he does is those "I'm a giant monster" type shit. Like you can only do that so many times before it just gets old.
Yeah, I mean that was really the only thing you could have done with him was build him as, you know, the monster that the new monster had to get over. Throw him out there against like Braun Breaker right now. I still think that would have had cachet. And you had Braun Breaker spear him, and I don't know. It would have helped Braun Breaker, I think. Especially if you want to build him as a new monster.
I don't know. He's already been beaten by Braun Strowman or not Braun, the other one.
Bronson Reed.
Yeah, and Fatu. So I mean, yeah, it might help Breaker, but if you know multiple people have already slain the giant, how impressive is it if Breaker does it?
Well, I guess it would depend on how you do it. Like if you're eking out a win, of course that's not going to help. But if you know, dominate him, I don't know. He had enough in the looks department to where it still would look impressive if someone were to beat him. I don't see how, because again, if we're being honest, he could barely move at the point where he got released. So I don't see what he does afterwards. He maybe goes to the Indies or something. He's not going to AEW. I can tell you that for sure. He could go and be like a special attraction or something. I don't know, but I don't see much out of him. Maybe yeah, work the indies and get paid per appearance. Now we get to our last two, the ones that are have the fans outraged. And honestly, we're gonna say it's probable because they're simping over these two. Number one, Dakota Kai. Also, these two will have something in common. You'll see. Dakota Kai was also amongst the released, kind of like Braun Strowman. She was released and then she was brought back when Triple H took over. When this man left, she was brought back as part of Damage Control. And if we're being honest, one, I don't think she was connecting with the fans. That's one. Yeah, she was getting some reactions, but I don't know. It wasn't as big as like a Becky Lynch would get, or I don't know. As I'm saying this, I'm just thinking like she wasn't getting a reaction, but she was getting better reactions than say like a Lyra Valkyria.
Hard mountain to climb there.
Yeah, there's that. But I think more importantly for her is she was injury prone. That's just the hard facts. So if you remember, she was in Damage Control. At some point, she got injured, and then she left to do her rehab. She came back. She got injured again, and then she was in the title picture for the Intercontinental title. She got injured again, and then she got that concussion too. So she just kept getting injured, just snake bitten. Unfortunate for her, but I think that was the main thing, was that she just kept getting injured.
Yeah, that's probably it.
I do see her likely going to AEW for sure. If any of these people go to AEW, this is definitely going to be one.
Is there going to be a big demand for her though?
I think so. I mean, she's got a fan base.
Yeah, but
mainly
she's not like Sasha Banks though.
She's not.
She's not even like fucking Paige. She's not on Paige's level. So I don't know. I don't see it being a big get. And I don't see that many people giving a shit. If anything, she'll have a splash like her debut episode and then she'll go to obscurity.
I don't know. I think it will be different. As I alluded to, Tony Khan, he can create characters. He can't make them stars, but he can create the characters. So I think she can go to AEW. He creates some kind of character for her. That character gets over. Kind of like Tony Storm right now. Like when Tony Storm went over to AEW, she wasn't, the name like a Sasha Banks or a top billing name. She goes to AEW, she gets this character created, and then now she's like at the top of the food chain there. Swerve Strickland, he's kind of the same character he was in WWE, but he wasn't the top guy. He goes over there, becomes a bigger star. Ricochet, I don't watch AEW each week, but Ricochet, I'll admit that he's doing some good work as a heel. The list goes on. So I think what they would do is bring her in, not as a, oh my God, that's Dakota Kai or whatever her stupid real name is. Because that's what they do over there, is go by their real names. I don't think it'll be that, but she has a chance. And I think as of like yesterday, her name was trending. It was like a at Tony Khan situation going. Everybody was like, at Tony Khan, 30 days, sign her. So I think that's enough to bring her in, and then we can see what happens after that. But my guess is that's what'll happen there. But again, she was injury prone, and I think that was the biggest hurdle for her. Just she kept getting injured. She couldn't connect with the fans because she's always hurt. And then we have her last name on the list. Now, she's an NXT talent. And boy, I don't know. So she's an NXT talent. The last name was Cora Jade. And she created the biggest uproar, I would say. Why? I don't know.
Cora Jade.
Cora Jade.
Wow. They really just pick names out of a hat to get mad over, don't they?
Yes. Now, to her credit, she was one of the mainstays on NXT, like one of the top talents. Pretty weekly, she was featured. So I guess that's where the surprise comes, is because, it was Roxanne Perez and her were like the top two before Julia and Kira came in. So I don't know. She was the top name outside of Roxanne Perez. But then she got injured. And then she came back. And she got injured again. And then she came back. And I think she got injured. She got injured, but it wasn't like a serious injury. All that to say, she was injury prone. And I think that was her downfall. So Dakota Kai and both Cora Jade, by the way, who also has a new name, Alanya Black, I guess.
That's awful.
And that, would you say that's her name, Alanya or Elena?
Elena Black.
Okay. So yeah, she already has her new or old name. I don't know. Now, where do I think she is going to end up? Well, I can tell you this. She will basically print money if she goes to OnlyFans. I'm not advocating that, she should turn to the streets like that, go the route of a 304. But I do say, if she did, like, just back up a Brinks truck to her house, she would make more on that than she could ever make in wrestling. Apparently, Mandy Rose makes more per month on her OnlyFans than she does on wrestling.
Yeah.
Mandy Rose, I believe, is something like $2 million in 24 hours or something like that. And I'm telling you, Cora Jade would shatter that record. She'd probably crash the site if she did it. That being said, if she knows what's good for her, that's what it's going to be. Because she doesn't have to put her body through anything else, and she can just go to OnlyFans. No ACL tears, nothing will be blown out. But if she doesn't go to OnlyFans, maybe she goes to AEW, maybe she goes to TNA. I can see either one of those. Apparently she was in TNA, so she might go back there. But it's already started for her. The day she got fired, just to show you what kind of things she'd be up for, right? So she puts out this tweet, and she says, "Hit me up," and then just has her email, ElenaBlack@yahoo.com, who has a Yahoo in 2025. So that was right after she got fired. And then she had to come back today, and she said, "Didn't think I had to clarify, but this is for booking and inquiries only. You weird ass and sensitive fucks." So one can only imagine what people were hitting up her Yahoo with. I would imagine they were getting crazy in the comments. But
More than likely.
just thought that was a tease for her OnlyFans, or preview of her OnlyFans. Maybe she doesn't enjoy OnlyFans. I don't want to put that on her. I'm just saying, money-wise, that would be the route that she should probably take. But outside of that, were there anything that should cause outrage on that list?
No, just a bunch of girls and Braun Strowman. We'll see what happens. Like you were alluding to more names in the coming days, so we'll see if there's a bigger splash release-wise. But I don't think there's a big loss.
Yeah, and quite frankly, I think it's all click garnering to be outraged over these names.
Yeah.
Sadly, no one's like outraged for Braun Strowman. Like, everybody just seems to care about Dakota Kai and Cora Jade. Mainly, it's because they're simping. Like, let's just call it out. Like, you didn't care about them when they were on TV. Now you want to pretend to care about them. So, if Cora Jade starts in the OnlyFans, then you win.
I will say, when I see Shayna Baszler, I just think, man, what a waste.
Yeah, she was one of the most legitimate women on the roster. So, yeah, really dropped the ball there. Oh, I did want to point out, though, with the Dakota Kai thing. So earlier this week, before the releases, there was this thing that's going around social media because Dakota Kai took to Twitter. She said that she didn't know why she wasn't being used. And she tweeted, not injured, by the way. So this was like a response to a fan. "Hey, why aren't you on TV?" "I don't know, but I'm not injured." So this started a whole fire about Nick Khan. As you remember, he went to that show and he talked about they don't sign and bench people. So everybody called him out for being a hypocrite. Oh, last week Nick Khan said they don't sign and bench people, but Dakota Kai's complaining that she's not being used. I just think it was funny that everybody was complaining about that, and then she got fired. If that could be funny.